Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to another episode of KLA Sports. I'm your host, Kyle Alexander, and today we got some news update in free agency. So yesterday, the Baltimore Ravens have signed former Broncos defensive end Derek Wolfe. The contract is for a 1-year, $6 million deal. $3 million is guaranteed. The other $3 million comes in incentives. Now, I think this is a great move for Baltimore. Now they didn't went from having Michael Brockers on the team to almost having Ndamukong Suh, and now they finally find their guy in Derek Wolfe. Now Wolfe, he turned 30 not too long ago, so he is a bit on the older side, but that's the thing with Baltimore. They're good with veterans. They're great at bringing in veteran players. Now I think Brockers would have been better because he's better at stopping a run. He's more balanced. But Derek Wolfe isn't bad either. I mean, he's not that bad. He's an adequate pass rusher. Had a great year last year with the Broncos. He had career high 7 sacks, and he also had 18 QB pressures. That gives him a pass rush. He's not, like I say, he's not that great of a run stopper, but he provides a needed pass rush ability. The only thing is with Brandon Williams and Calais Campbell, both on that defensive line, stopping the run. I think teams might try and go towards Derek Wolfe's side because they're like, all right, Calais Campbell, Brandon Williams are the main run stoppers. So if they got Derek Wolfe, he's not that, and Derek Wolfe, who's not as great at stopping the run as said Michael Brockers or Calais Campbell or Brandon Williams, they might try and go that way, especially if it's Derrick Henry. But I mean, hey, he can get after a quarterback. I think, like I said, I think it's a great signing. I think it's a pretty good signing. Um, Now the Ravens they upgraded and revamped their defensive line with this signing and the Calais Campbell trade. They get pass rush up the middle with these two moves. So now their defensive line is most likely going to be Derek Wolfe and Calais Campbell at the defensive end and at defensive end positions, and probably going to put Brandon Williams up the middle at nose tackle. Now him or Campbell could play, but I think Brandon Williams in the Ravens defense, he's played D tackle before, and yeah, I feel like they're probably going to use Calais Campbell at defensive end because he's not a rotational player. This also adds a veteran option and presence to a young Ravens roster. Like you saw last 2 years, the Ravens lost to the Titans in the playoffs and lost to the Chargers. They had a young roster. Like especially if you look at the roster last year, Lamar Jackson his second year. The only really older players you have are like players like Mark Ingram had Marshall Yonda, but now he's gone. So you don't have that. That creates a hole at the O line in terms of like veteran presence or veteran leader. Willie Snead is like 26, 27, but he's like that he's like in the in between sort of. Then you got Earl Thomas at safety, Jimmy Smith, had Brandon Carr, Josh Vaughn, so like the Pernell McPhee, Brandon Williams, like I mean, there's some old players on, but like the majority of the Ravens' top players are the young guys. So we need them to step up, or the Ravens need them to step up. So now you got this veteran player who comes in who has Super Bowl experience. He was on that Broncos Super Bowl 50 team, so he knows what it's like to win a championship, and to bring that to a young team that's trying to win a Super Bowl. That's their next step. So I think it's a good move for the Ravens. Like I said, their pass rush is way better. Defensive line is way better. Pass rush is way better. Like they said in the offseason, they wanted to retool the defensive line, and that's what they did. So honestly, both as a Ravens fan and both, like as a neutral person, I want to see how this Ravens defense performs. I want to see how the defensive line performs with those three defensive linemen. See if they do get more pressure on the quarterback, more sacks. Like just get a better pass rush, and that sets up a position. That puts our secondary in position. To have more plays like more deflections, more interceptions. So yeah. Also, like I said, it takes care of a pass rush need that the Ravens needed, and they can now with the rest of the offseason free agency, they can focus on linebacker and wide receiver in the draft. Like I said, they got those two second round picks from that Hayden Hurst trade. So this seems that Kenneth Murray is a lock for number one. especially with the Oakland Raiders signing Corey Littleton and Nick Kwiatkowski in free agency. Only other team I could see taking a linebacker really is the Eagles, but I think they're gonna look at a receiver with their first pick. So now Ravens can get Kenneth Murray with their or Patrick Queen with their first pick. I personally think Kenneth Murray would be better because he's better in coverage, but I mean, who knows? And then in the second round, you could take a receiver like I'm not really sure who would be it. Maybe like a Jalen Rager or something, or a Brandon Ayuk. Ravens need I think that's like 16th from the Falcons pick. So yeah, and then they got their late round pick, so they can take another edge if they want to, like an outside linebacker or something, or another linebacker if they wanted to. Like, hey man, if they got Kenneth Murray and Troy Dye, I wouldn't be mad. So yeah, that is it for this episode. Ravens bringing Derek Wolfe on a 1-year deal. So yeah, that's it for this episode. Tell me, Ravens fans, or not even Ravens fans, just people in general, tell me in the comment section below what you think of the signing. If you think this is a good move by the Ravens or not. And yeah, that's it for this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will talk to you guys next time.